If you're a tradesman, you are sitting on a gold mine. I'm going to show you how you can raise capital from cash-ready investors into your property projects by showing nothing other than the work that you are already doing. That's the gold mine I'm talking about, and most of you are sleeping on it. It's how we've managed to raise 2.1 million to invest in projects like this. We're currently sat in my 31-bedroom hotel that I've bought with my brother and a business partner. And I'm going to explain exactly how you can do the same, why you're already qualified, and the reason you're sitting on a gold mine. And the way that you do it is by showcasing the stuff that you are already doing. You are already doing the hard work. The things required that an investor would want to see in order to build trust and understand the vision of where you want it to go. I expect the same as where me and Conran were when we first started. The whole reason that you got into the trade in the first place was because you wanted to get into property investing. And the truth is that you haven't saved up enough money. The cash flow isn't there. And the only way to get into property now, as opposed to later on in life, is raising finance through investors, attracting them through Instagram by showcasing the thing that you're already doing, the work that you're already doing, the trade, showing people that you can work to schedules, showing people you care about the materials, how you clean the van, the things that you're interested in on a Saturday. Whatever it may be, you are building a personal brand. That's exactly what an investor wants to see before they hand any money over. Proof of execution. Most people think that because they've never done their own property deal, they've not invested in property before, that they're not qualified to do it. But the fact that you've been a tradesman for X number of years doing high-end work, that's all the proof you need. It's funny because when me and Conran first started doing property, our first project was nowhere near the kind of level of work that he'd been used to. He'd been working in crazy houses, doing in unreal bespoke bathrooms, and to actually start where we started on our first BRR project, our buy, refurbish, refinance, we were actually going in at a level that he was way above. So you are qualified. You've been doing great work for a number of years, and that's exactly what an investor wants to see and why they're going to trust you. What better person to invest with than the guy that's been on site for years, showing his skills, showing how he turns up. This is one of my clients, Andy. We've been working together for just over 2 months, and in the last 4 weeks, he has raised 1.4 million quid for his property projects. He's got 7 bungalow flips on the go at the moment, and the guy's a machine. If you want results like this, book a call. Let's get back to the video. Double leverage angle. Your unique position, I'm going to explain why it can do 2 things for you, even if your social media isn't doing anything for you right now. Now, the best thing about this is you only have to focus on one, and as a result of the one, you get the second thing. You can do 2 things simultaneously without having to scream from the rooftops about the second. Let me explain. So the first thing you want to do is create videos about your thing. If you're a bathroom fitter, if you're a kitchen designer, whatever it is within the trade, that's what you want to be making videos on. That's what you're most credible in. And ultimately, if you continue to make videos over an extended period of time, you're going to attract more work. That's a given. And the best thing about winning jobs on Instagram is that you are building up trust with an audience over time. They're going to see this project that you've just done. They're going to see this bathroom, the extension you've just done for a client. And over time, people are going to begin to know who you are, like you, and trust you. And eventually, when the time's right, deal presents itself. If you've already had those honest and open conversations with an investor, you can be ready to move forward on a deal. Because that's the thing that gets deals done. It's speed. And that's what we've struggled with in the past and where we've lost so much money, hundreds of thousands in potential earnings, because we couldn't act soon enough. We couldn't act fast. That's why it's so important to do these 2 things simultaneously. Even if you don't have a property deal ready and waiting right now, you need to have built up the trust with investors over time so that when the opportunity presents itself, you can put it forward to the investor and say, hey, there's a time constraint on this, but the property's worth 100 grand and I can buy it for 50. Let's go. And don't get me wrong, if you can't confidently price a refurb, then maybe this isn't for you. But that's why tradesmen and active property investors are who we work best with and who we see this mega gold mine, pairing personal brand with raising finance and attracting high-end work. By showcasing what you're already doing, you will attract more work. And by attracting more work and showcasing what you're doing, you will attract investors. This flywheel motion of the thing that you're already doing, and by showing who you are, you will attract investors. The other great thing about doing this is, and what we've seen with a few of our clients, is the investors they end up attracting are clients of theirs. They're people that they've worked for over time because they know exactly how they operate. They know that they turned up on time and that everything was tidy and the job was immaculate. What better person to invest with than the guy they've already paid to be in their house? That's what I'm saying out here. This is a gold mine. You're already doing the work. You just need to showcase it in a better way. Yeah, it's a bit scary getting in front of camera at first, but it's not that scary when you're talking about the thing that you're so passionate about, the thing that you've been doing so well for years. That's all you need to get over. The fear of showcasing your work. You're not showing off. You're just simply showing people what your day-to-day is like. And this is where a lot of people get it confused and messed up. If you've tried to attract investors before and you've already been posting videos, you've probably been saying the wrong things. You don't have to convince an investor that investing in property is a good idea. You don't need to tell a high net worth individual that their money is better invested in a property deal than in the bank. Like, that's something that people already know. That is the most surface level basic bullshit. Like, no one is being converted into an investor by you telling them that. All they want to hear is who you are, what you've done, and what you can do for them. What is raising finance? So to put simply, raising finance just means loaning money from an investor, JVing with an investor, which is a joint venture partnership, or just simply loaning money through a loan agreement for a property investment, for a business purchase. It can be anything really. You're just using a private lender instead of an institutional bank. We've done both loan agreements for fixed rate returns, and we've done joint venture partnerships. Depends on the investor, depends on the deal, depends on their appetite for risk. But this is just some of the options that you can do when using investor finance. We've also used bridging loans and explored other creative ways that you can acquire property with little to no money of your own, or in some cases like this, in this building, not a penny of our own money. When we first started in property, my brother refinanced his home and I sold a couple of possessions and we scraped our money together for the deposit for a bridging loan. Who are we targeting? Who are the kind of people that we are looking to attract? We are only looking to attract high net worth individuals. We want someone with 100, 250k plus. We're not looking to loan 20, 30, 40k from several different investors, and there's a number of reasons. The first is compliance. The more investors that you get on for smaller amounts of money, the more FCA compliance that you need to adhere to, whilst experienced investors understand that between 5 and 12% on a relatively safe property investment is actually a good idea. And typically with the investors that we've spoke to, people with lower amounts of money have higher expected returns that they're looking to achieve, and the seasoned investors, the high net worth individuals, those that have been in business for a long time or invested in property themselves, are way more realistic when it comes to risk-adjusted returns. Risk-adjusted returns is exactly the same as a football game. Imagine Spain playing your local Sunday league team. The likelihood that Spain are going to win is pretty high. Let's say someone was to place the bet of 100,000 on Spain to beat an under-19s college team. It's pretty likely that that's going to happen. So the expected returns might only be an extra 5k on top of the 100 because it's pretty nailed on. And it's exactly the same with property. If you're buying a house that you know the rest of that street is sold at 100k and you can secure that property for £50,000, because the risk is adjusted based on how cheap you've got the property, you can actually offer a lower amount of interest paid to an investor, not a higher rate. This is where some people get it confused. They think that because there's loads of profit in the deal, that they have to give an investor more of the juice. But in actual fact, it's the opposite, because the risk-adjusted returns, the risk that the property is going to go wrong when you buy it at 50k versus buying it at 80k is a lot less, meaning that an investor is satisfied with what's called a first legal charge, basically first dibs on the asset, on the property itself. So as long as you buy that property for 50k and you know that you could sell it for 70k tomorrow, the investor is seeing that as very, very low risk, which means it's attractive. You don't need to offer 20% returns or crazy 15% returns because it just doesn't sound very believable. And because of the risk associated with the deal, not that much, because you're buying it at a great price. You can offer a good rate, better than what they get in the bank, but you don't need to go to town. Most investors are looking for long-term relationships that you can continue to do deals with. The great thing about this is you only really need a couple of investors, a couple of people that know you, like you, trust you, and over time, because you show your skills by the thing you're already doing, which is what we're going to get into in a second, they trust you, they believe in the vision, and they want to be a part of that. They want to watch it unfold as it happens through your social media. So that's the gold mine that you are sitting on. You're able to attract high-end work and eventually investors. Now, I actually do this with guys just like you in the trade, construction, property industry that are actually active. Yes, I charge for this, but my results speak for themselves. And I urge you, if you're interested, head to the link below, fill out some questions, see if we're the right fit, and if it makes sense, let's work together. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.